Buenos nachos, mi amigos. I just got back from Miami and it's time to break down. Just so you know, we're doing this live. If you're not watching it live, you're missing out.
But anyway,
we're talking about why the market got absolutely rocked. If you were watching it early this morning, you were probably feeling green. You were probably feeling pretty good about your green, bullish, YOLO DJing calls to the upside. And then maybe you got away from your computer, maybe you stopped paying attention to your phone, and maybe, just maybe, you came back in the latter half of the day, and all of a sudden, there was a disturbance in the ether. So you felt that itch in the back of your head, your spidey senses going off. So you decided to check it, and you returned to an absolute bloodbath. So I want to break down what in the world happened today in the market, but maybe a little bit more exciting is just the craziness that we saw at a chairman speech. The chairman of the Fed, Jerome Powell, he said a little bit of a curse word. He told someone to close the effing door, and that was literally in a live press conference. So I want to break that down. And then just to conclude it, I want to explain a little bit about how I personally made a little bit of money, decent amount of money. I was really happy with it off today's stock market downfall. Obviously, if you like this type of content, if you like these type of updates, don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find some little nuggets in here that you enjoy and want to come back for the next time. So with that being said, let's switch things up and let's look at that bloodbath. Call your mom, call your grandma, healthcare destroyed. A lot of tech names, they had a good start to the day. It did not end well. And one that particularly got rocked was Tesla. But the truly concerning thing was what happened in the world of bonds. Bonds were looking good until about 1 p.m. And right here, I'll make a giant arrow to make it more evident of right where it decided to go backwards and upside down on a roller coaster because it started to absolutely vomit. In fact, the drop in bonds, and AKA the rip in yields, was so dramatic that the S&P 500 snaps an 8-day winning streak. Dow closes 200 points lower as bond yields rise. So let's get right into it. No need to bury the lead here. What happened? Well, at 1 p.m. today, 1 p.m. ET, we got the conclusion of a 30-year bond auction. So basically, the government, Yellen, the gremlin of a creature, the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, and her team are like, hey, let's go sell some stuff because we need to raise some money. That's how our government works. They sell a bunch of different bonds, notes, bills in the attempt to raise money. And most of the time, this stuff goes unnoticed. Most of the time, no one cares because the auction basically goes off without a hitch and everything's good. It's hunky-dory. No one cares about fixed income. Well, I should say they used to not care about fixed income, but now they very much care because recently it hasn't been so hunky-dory. This is the PDF that you could get off the Treasury's website. They have to be very public about this. And you're going to quickly notice that the amount they were trying to sell, 54.1 billion, is a smidge different than the 24.5 billion that actually was sold. Now, this isn't the worst we've ever heard of. Recently, they were actually only selling 18% of what they had. This time, it's a little bit closer to 50, maybe in the realm of 45. But please understand, in the world of fixed income, this is still a big deal because most of the time, they actually are hitting 100% or really, really close to it. So even though it's not as bad as what we heard a couple weeks ago, in the realm of fixed income and the government selling bonds, the fact that there's such a lack of demand, that's a big concern. And when you have this lack of demand, when there's an expectation that you're going to be selling a lot more bonds than you actually do, well, when they're not being sold, what do you think happens? It's just going to drop. And then on top of that, you're going to see yields rip. And this is, I'm looking at the 10-year, so we could actually bring up the 30-year yields so you could see directly what happened. You're just seeing the yields absolutely pop. So this all went down at 1 p.m. today, and the TLDR on it of why the equity market got hit, well, there was not a desire for bonds. And if there's not a desire for bonds 30 years out, that's basically saying in a long time frame, aka 3 decades, there's a lot of people who, as of now, don't have the most confidence in what's going down in America, the government, the trust in the whole shebang, the whole show. it's a little sus at the point in time. And obviously when that happens, people don't have the most confidence in the equities. So that was crazy. But honestly, it wasn't the most crazy thing we saw today. Powell says Fed is not confident and has done enough to bring inflation down. So yeah, Powell spoke today. It was his second speech of the week, and it was number umpteen of how many Fed members are speaking this week. And okay, so not confident, and you might be thinking, well, that didn't help the market so much. And yeah, you're right. But this was the crazy thing. Fed Chair Powell's speech delayed by climate protesters. This is the second time it's happened to the poor guy. Not long ago, it was like, what was it? The fossil fuels, Powell get off fossil fuels. They had some weird chant that wasn't that good because I can't even remember it right now. But that wasn't the interesting thing. The interesting thing was he got caught in a little bit of a hot mic situation. As soon as he started speaking, the climate protesters walked in, and it probably gave us the best soundbite we've ever gotten from any Fed speech ever. Give it a listen.
Expect that the process of getting inflation sustainably down to 2% has a long way to go. The labor market remains tight, although improvements in labor supply and a gradual easing in demand continue to move it into better balance.
I'm actually
GDP
giddy
growth in the third quarter
because I know what's
quite
about
strong,
to come.
But like most forecasters,
Calm,
we expect growth
cool,
to moderate
collected.
in coming
It's
quarters.
coming.
Of course.
Here we go.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
They cut it.
Thank
Wait,
you very much. Yep.
listen. Hot mic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just close the fucking door. Close the door.
Good. Just close the effing door. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What else would you be doing with your monetary policy? That's the official monetary policy of the US is close the effing door. He stated it right there. Love it. Absolutely love it. This happened today. This was not a doctored video. This was not AI. Climate protesters walked in on the chairman of the Fed speech, and he told them to close the effing door. In all of my just guesses of what could have potentially happened today, this didn't even make the top 1 million list. And yet, here we are. So just want to share that. And also particularly on that note, I just want to give you kind of a setup of what to expect. So earnings season, kind of donezo. The only other one that I think you're really going to be interested in terms of tech names is later in November 21st. We're going to hear from NVIDIA, obviously a high-flying tech name, and also in particular interest to me, the next Monday in our lives, this upcoming Monday, we're going to hear from Rumble. So shout out to everyone watching on Rumble. Other just quick little side note here, and I promise I'm not going to rant, I'm not going to freak out. AMC had their earnings last night after the market closed on Wednesday, and stop me if you've heard this before, but once again, Adam Aron has proven that he is by no means an ape. He does not support retail. If anything, he's continuing to take money from retail. If you ask me, all Adam Aron has done is proven to the world, or at least people who's paying attention, that he's an absolute scumbag. The recent announcement is that he's diluting the stock once again, this time to the tune of $350 million. And yet, the sycophants who still continue to support the guy, I don't understand. No matter what he does, he could just keep taking their money, and they're still saying, yes, please do that again. Can I please have some more of you taking my money? It blows my mind, and like I said, I don't want to harp on it too much because if you're watching this, you probably don't care. You've probably already realized that Adam Aron is truly a scumbag, but maybe on the off chance that I'm catching someone out there who just hasn't realized it yet, Adam Aron, he gotcha. And that's really all there is to say to it. So I want you to know that, but I also want you to know on top of that, we do have other major macroeconomic events beyond earnings coming down. So for this upcoming Friday, you are going to be hearing about from Michigan, their inflation expectations, 1 year, 5 year. So 11 a.m. tomorrow, an hour into the half of market trading. You're hearing from Michigan for Friday, November 10th. I also want you to know that from a seasonality standpoint, it's a bit of a weird day. kind of neutral, a little bit bearish, but recently it's really been shooting to the upside. So I just want to point that out. I also want to point out today got rocked, and today was actually a pretty freaking bearish day. So seasonality playing out pretty beautifully in the S&P 500. So on this, obviously this newsletter, it's part of, if you sign up for Locals, so on Locals, macros.locals.com, use the code Goonie. That gets you 1 free month. That gets you into the Discord. That gets you the newsletter. That gets you private weekly teachings with the community, trading competitions, and much more. And just to kind of show you some of my personal trades, and yes, other people do post theirs. These were the credit spreads from today, a call credit spread. So needed the SPY below 438 to get the max profit, needed the Qs below 374 to get the max profit. Obviously, looking at the market, they both hit. So that's how I was able to make money today. I wasn't degenerately buying puts the way a lot of people are going to try to pitch you. If you did that, you probably made good money. I try to take the most degenerate approach in a conservative field. And what I mean by conservative field is credit spreads. Rather than going long on premium, I'm selling premium, but then I do it degenerately by putting a lot of money behind it and put my strikes pretty close to where the current action is. So if you're like, hey, I want to learn about calls, I want to learn about puts and get to the level of kind of doing multi-leg strategies, obviously the Locals/Discord community is going to be a great place for you to be able to learn about all that. So macros.locals.com, obviously check it out. 1 month free on me. Use the code Goonie. Thus far, the market had a pretty red day, but we have one more day of fun in the sun before the market actually concludes for the week. So I hope to catch you in the live show. I do it Monday to Friday, 9 to 11 every single morning. Check it out on both Rumble and on YouTube. I appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping by the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.